Welcome to another episode of Sistah Girls Night In. I am your host, Maisha, and I have a very special guest with me today. Charae Lewis is an urban fiction author who hails from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She has penned over 50 novels and is one of the most vibrant authors I've ever met. Charae is known for her jaw-dropping looks at meet and greets and is known for snatching edges. Hey, sister girl.
Wait, sister girl, you didn't have to put all that. But hey, girl.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am fine. This is my first interview with you,
It
so
is.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So, my first question, can you tell me what made you start writing?
I think after reading so many urban fiction novels, I wanted to try it. I would like read the author's bios to see, I thought you had to have formal education and all these degrees. This is my young, naive, like teenager years. So I'm like, dang, when I would read like bios from like Keisha Irving, Kawan and stuff, how they just said they started writing, they didn't, do nothing extravagant. I'm like, dang, let me see if I could try it. And I did it, girl. It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
easy though. I'm not gonna try to make it seem like it was easy.
So, how long did it take you to write your first book?
It took some months, but even after I wrote it, I sat on it. Then I built up the enough nerve because you remember like Triple Crown Publications, they was like
Yes.
real popping. I remember
Yes.
I went and had it printed out because they were accepting submissions. I went and had it printed out. I sent it, and I think I waited 2 or 3 months, and they sent me a letter like they rejected the manuscript, which was such a
Oh.
blessing in disguise. So, yeah, it took a little while.
Okay. Who are or still are the authors that influenced your pen?
My number one is Takara Allen. Like
Oh,
my
yes.
number one. Tracy Brown, may she rest in peace. I
Mm-hmm.
loved her writing. I love Danielle Santiago. I love Keisha Irvin and who else? Those are like my main four. With my veteran authors, yeah, those was my
Oh,
main four.
okay. So I know you did a collab with an author before or certain authors. If you can pick one of the greats to do a collab with, who would you pick?
It'll probably be Takara. Even though her pen is just out of this look,
Yes.
her pen is out of this world, but yeah, like it will probably be her.
Okay. So I know you sit back and, like I said, your books are known for snatching edges because a lot of you kill off a lot of people. You hurt a lot of people. You cause a lot of pain. Is there a instance when you did that where you're like, dang, I shouldn't have did that? It was already done. Is there one instance, or you just like whatever happened happened?
Oh, let me think. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have any regrets. I'm trying because nothing really comes to mind for me. I know people probably thinking like sincerely me, the Solana character, but no, I don't regret her ending. It had to happen. But no, I don't think I have any. Maybe in my earlier work, but I can't think of any.
Okay. So as my favorite line of all time comes
Oh.
from the Black series. You know, I ain't never met a bolder than you. I swear, like that line right there. I think that was at the running for 2 years straight.
It was. It
I
was.
love that line. Is there a line that people have came to you and quoted like, and you like all you can do is laugh? Cause I know me and Ayana, that
Yes.
is our line right there.
It was that line. Like I heard that line, like you said, for like 2, 3 years straight, where People was just quoting it. They'll tag me in the quote like randomly, girl. It'll be so funny. But yeah, it's that line.
It's that line. Cause when you wrote it, I'm like, I say, oh shit. Cause when I'm reading, I'm like, oh, she brave. But then for him to say it, he like, you I ain't, and you know he done met some bold people with his line of work before.
Yeah.
So for him to just pin that to her, that was hilarious. I think it was so it was funny, and it was like I have to agree with him on this one because baby, you bold.
Yeah, that it was that line. And you know it's funny, that was not in the first draft.
Oh.
I think that was the last line of the first book. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't in the first draft. And I was like, oh, I need something more. Like it gotta have more of an impact. And I came up with that line at the last minute, like last
I'm
minute.
glad you did.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did because that set it off right there. That had us waiting like, okay, nah, I need to see book two. Like
Yeah.
that was it was a cliffhanger, but it was one where, he has a point. You
Mm,
bold. You
yeah.
bold.
Yeah.
So is there a character you enjoy writing the most?
See, girl, I don't be remembering all my books. I'm looking at my. You know what? I really enjoyed. I don't know why they got a hold on me still. I enjoyed the End of Time cast.
Really?
Yes, I don't know why. They still got a hold on me. Yeah, definitely them.
Yeah. So when you say they have a hold on you, are you bringing them back? Christmas specials,
I don't
Valentine's specials,
know.
something?
Well, you know, I'm doing a Kindle Vella with Jew. That's probably
Mm-hmm.
why they on my mind still. So, yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about that. You
Yeah.
did an episode. It was a surprise episode. I don't think nobody really expected you to do it.
Mm-mm.
What? How's the feedback on that?
They are like so excited. But of course, I'm doing the most in the episodes. Like,
Uh,
it's
wouldn't be
drama.
Charae without it.
It's drama, but I knew when I finished that series, the character Jew, he was still on my mind, and I made a mental note. I was like, I need to give him his own book because he was so young, and
Mm-hmm.
it would have been nice seeing him in adulthood. And I just came with the idea. I'm like, let me try Kindle Velas because my friend, she was talking me into doing it. And she was like, you should try it with Juice character. And I was like, okay, let me give it a try. And the readers are like loving it. So I'm thankful for that.
And are you going to turn his character into a book, or are you just going to try
I
to
don't
Kindle
know.
that?
I'm winging it now with the episodes. So far, I'm liking it. It was kind of like, let me try it out. Because if I didn't, I was going to just go back to doing a book for him. But I think I
Mm-hmm.
like the episodes
Okay.
for his character.
Okay. And um, do you prefer writing the men or the women? Because I know some women authors they say it's harder to write the woman's point of view than it is the man because
Really?
they know how to think like men. But with women, it's like especially when you have women readers, we're so hard on the women characters.
Yes.
Where the men, you can literally freestyle, make the worst person ever, and redeem him in the end. Whereas the women, it's hard to redeem them because once you don't like them, you don't like them.
I think it's easier for some female authors or women authors to write men because I feel like us girls, we have this perfect idea of what the perfect man is. So if you
Mm-hmm.
just give him those characteristics, he'll be a hit. For me, I love writing women. That's probably why a lot of people don't like my female characters. I love writing the women. I love giving them flaws. And even with my male characters, I always tell them I don't write no book based. So my male characters be flawed, and it's kind of like you either gonna like them or you don't. But I do enjoy writing the females more.
Okay. And I had the luxury of getting to being a test reader for St. Avenue, or
Mm.
St. Ave, as you want to put it. And when I read it, I'm like, hero. I didn't know if I was supposed to love him or like him, but I love, because he's one of them characters that the way he introduced himself, the way he started in the book, it was like, well, he rude as hell. But then,
Mhm.
you like the rude men, and I don't know. I really liked him. Did you get a lot of likes from him, or a lot of that's bait?
Okay, so it's weird. I got a lot of likes from him. Even after what he did,
Mm-hmm.
they barely mentioned that. They was like, "Oh well, Yasmin, it's her fault. She should have slowed down and listened to old girl,
Mm-hmm.
or, um, she overreacted." I was so shocked by that response, and it was a couple people who just was not feeling Hero. Like they didn't like him at all.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I want to get into Saint Ave. Okay, how long did it take you to write this book?
Okay, so 75% of this book was written last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started working on it last year, but I sat it down because I wasn't feeling the storyline. So I sat it down and moved on to other books. And then around May, after I released My Crazy Love, I
Yeah.
opened the document and I started reading it as if I didn't write it. Like I was really enjoying the storyline. I was like, okay, I gotta finish this. Cause initially I was gonna put it out towards the end of the year. But I was like, I gotta put this out now. And I added some words on it and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it out.
Okay. So with this book, I know Hero was a piece of work. What was your inspiration for him?
I think I was watching an interview. I think it was Method Man. And he
Oh,
was, yes. I was watching an interview with Method Man, and he was talking about his career in the Wu-Tang days. And
mm,
them 90 rappers lived a life, right?
yes.
They didn't live a life. And I was like, dang, I should write a book about an OG rapper. Cause usually it be when we write books about rappers, that be like the new rappers or just that piping hot rapper. And I was like, what about the OG rapper that's been in for like 20 years? And he in transition to an executive or, other
Oh,
business ventures.
yes.
So yeah, I was watching that interview and then that's where I got the idea for Hero.
I I didn't imagine Method Man, but now that you say it,
I use him
ooh, I can
specifically, but if you want to go, you can't go wrong with
can
him.
mention him because he has you. And I'm thinking about his interview with the infamous interview with Charlemagne the God. When
Yeah.
they finally sat down years later after Charlemagne had that slip up with
Mm-hmm.
his household, about his household. But it's like Method Man is such a stand up rapper. He is the literally the epitome of '90s rappers. They went on tour with when rap was just at the
Mm-hmm.
highlight of it wasn't what it was today, and they have stories for days. So yeah, I can
Yeah.
definitely picture
Yep.
Method Man. So when the book starts, we're introduced first to Yasmin,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to say she had me emotional, but when her line was, "How dare you waste all of my good years, then leave me with nothing?" That line stuck out to me because it's like, and I think that's why so many women now are dating, like enjoying their 20s, and then and they're called names for doing
Of
such,
course. Of course.
but you though it's this is like that where we're like, you know, I'm gonna just live my life, and if he's still there, then he's still there. If not, I figure it out. And it's because women are scared to give their good years, give their good
Mm-hmm.
years to men, and in return you end up with nothing, or you end up with kids, and now you have to raise them alone because he's moved on to someone without kids, someone younger and vibrant.
Right.
So that line really, touched me. And I wanted to start talking about Yasmin first because she was introduced to us first.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Jasmine, she had a situation at home. And I don't want to get too much into it because there may be some people who may want to read it. But she had a situation at home which kind of forced her to be with David. I mean, he was there when she didn't have anyone. Do you think that is the reason he was, he did what he did, where he felt she should be? Because he used the word she's ungrateful, like she should have been grateful,
Yeah.
for just because he was able to help her. Just because I'm cheating on you now doesn't mean nothing. I was there when you had nobody. Do you think that is why he felt that way about her?
Yeah, like it's almost like he looked at her as a burden that he could do
Yes.
any kind of way because he knew she didn't have no, she only had her best friend, Nene, I think. He knew
Yes.
she didn't have her mom, her
She didn't
father
have
had
anybody.
passed, and she didn't really talk with her family. So
Mm-mm.
she literally leaned on him for everything and gave him her all. And of course, a man who coming up and getting that power and that money, they gonna treat you a certain way when they feel like that you're like a burden to them. So he definitely treated her any way he wanted to.
Yeah. And by chance, Natasha, who was Hero's mom, saw her break down at the courthouse, and she literally gave her words. I felt there were words of encouragement. They may have not come from a good place,
Right.
but for an older woman to tell you, don't see him, don't let him break you down like that, don't let him see you like that. Those were really words to live. You never want to see someone, and older people will tell you all the time, don't let anyone see how they can affect you. If
Mm-hmm.
they did, fine, you still walk out with your head held high. And I thought her advice, came from a good place. And then you read more about Natasha, and you're like, okay, yeah, she just a slimy little piece of
Mm-hmm.
crap.
Yeah.
But in that instance, I saw the motherly instance from Natasha that we rarely saw this whole book. You kind of saw them right then and there. What
Mm-hmm.
you think?
I agree. Even though Natasha was at the courthouse scouting,
Mm.
because she was.
Oh yeah.
That's why when Hero and Natasha got into it, he said you preyed on a broken woman. He already knew what his mama was on.
Because he
So
knew his mom.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
even with her scouting, she was telling her like, listen, we are women. We designed to bounce back. Don't let that man see you sweat kind of thing. So I feel like she was coming from a good place in that little moment, but she
Yeah,
still was trying to get what she wanted from Yasmin.
I totally agree. Um, so we meet Saint and Angel. And I just want to say, you did not name these kids appropriately.
That's what that's what Allegra said too. She said,
I'm like,
"How you gonna name them Saint and Angel, and they bad
and
as
they're
hell?"
far from it. Far, far from it. When I say those kids had me rolling the whole book, it was like I don't even much think they knew how to behave.
Only when their dad was around. That's it. Cause they was like angels for him. They wasn't doing the most with him.
I just refuse to believe you saw that side. His kids. It was really Saint walking around with a money knot.
Yes.
Like you're 6. That was too funny to me. Um, but if you guys haven't figured it out, Natasha recruits Yasmin to be the nanny because Natasha was left with them and she wanted to rip and run and travel and do speaking engagements, and she couldn't do that, with 2 6-year-olds in tow, two twins. So she recruited, as Charae said, a broken woman from that she saw at the courthouse to be the nanny. And she left her. Like, I think Yasmin was expecting her to be there and, in town, and
Yeah.
while she's gone, I'm keeping them. But no, Natasha really left those kids with a stranger.
Girl got
Oh
up
my
out of here. The bags was at the door.
Oh
Like,
my God, Audacity is on clearance. I tell
yeah,
people all the time.
yeah.
So with Natasha, and I know that sometimes you pull things from, what either you saw it before or you experienced it firsthand. Where did Natasha come from? What did you want to just create that mother that not many people see? Because she had an evil side to her that they'll see once they finish the book.
So initially, Natasha was not supposed to be that trifling. I I had even wrote down her characteristics and everything, but as the book was going on, it was like something was telling me, all right, you got to up her character. You got to give her more of an influence, an evil influence. She was not supposed
Mm-hmm.
to be that trifling initially. Of course, she was supposed to lead her with the kids, but she wasn't supposed to be doing what she was doing to Hero and what she did further into the book. Um, but yeah, she was just supposed to be that mama who, run the streets. Not, those young grandmas who don't want to settle down and be a
Mm-hmm.
grandma. That's what she was supposed to be. But as the book went on, I had to like give her more evil influence.
So basically, as you started writing, Natasha was like, "That's not me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know who you writing,
Yeah,
but that's not me." And she
basically.
wanted you to show the real her, because what you were trying to showcase, that wasn't her. So
Yeah.
that's what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
She just, yeah, she was like, you're not gonna, I'm not the cookie cutter grandma. I am the glamour, okay?
Yeah.
And you went on with that. And I enjoyed Natasha's storyline because it was so different.
Mm-hmm.
You and I want to talk about, her relationship with Hero. He looked down on her, and I think she knew that. But she wanted him to respect her as if she did more.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's
Yeah, she had this sense of entitlement, especially
she?
when it came to like his money, his career.
Yes.
Um, Even though you didn't pour into him, you didn't help him with his craft, talent, or anything, you are reaping the benefits of his career, but you got this sense of entitlement, like you was in the
Yeah.
trenches with him. And that's why he didn't really respect her, because of her entitlement, and she just never was a mother to him,
She wanted respect she didn't earn. And I
basically.
think that was another thing that you pointed out that I saw was it seemed as if he had the career she wanted. She
Hmm.
was into show business and it didn't work out. So to see her son thrive at something she wanted so bad, I think that was another reason she just did not. She was jealous of him.
Very jealous of him, to the
Very
point
jealous.
where not only am I reaping the benefits of your success, but I'll ruin your success with what I know. See, that's
Yes.
how jealous and envious she was.
And it's like she benefited from being his mother,
Hmm.
really benefited, and to see that, I'm so jealous and envious of you that even though I'm benefiting from your career, I can ruin it, and I'm gonna let you know every step of the way that I can ruin it. And
Hmm.
that was the we usually read about those, especially when it comes to sons. We don't really see mothers mistreating their sons, or we
Hmm.
usually see the daughters. So I think I like the way you spend it around, where it was the mother, having a poor relationship with the son, not nurturing him, not feeding into him, and actually blackmailing him, kind of,
Hmm.
to keep getting what she wants. because she couldn't become the artist that he wanted because he was a rapper, a very successful rapper at that, and she didn't like it.
Yeah. And she was so envious that although she was reaping the benefits of his success, destroying him will be far more greater than what
Yes,
she was getting from his name.
absolutely. So, as we, go on through the book, we see, Hero, he was against Yasmin being the nanny. He didn't want her there. He contemplated firing her until Natasha told him about the contract she signed. But as the book goes on, we see that he starts liking her, as a person and as a romantic, he likes her. He starts liking her. And it's like I read it because I wanted to see it happen because I wanted to see this mean ass dude get humbled by a woman. And I think you wrote that so well where he did get humbled by her. He did have to admit, this feeling that I'm feeling, is something I never felt before because he hadn't felt that way about any other woman he's been with. He was himself with her. He didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
hide. And I think he appreciated that he didn't have to hide his conditions, who he was from her because she loved everything about him, the good and the bad.
Well, he did hide his condition initially.
Mm,
He wasn't ready for her to know that part of
yeah.
him.
Hey.
Yeah, and I think with Yasmin being so broken and just like down, she didn't really focus on Hero the rapper, his riches, none of that. Like she was literally probably in a fog trying to make sense of her life. And I think he liked that she wasn't into that entertainment side of him and
Yeah.
his riches and stuff like that. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when it was a scene where he took her where he grew up at, and the neighborhood or the OGs, they embraced her. They liked her from the jump. They didn't,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of my favorite scenes, or that was my favorite scene actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's like it's something about a man introducing you to the men who raised him and
Mm-hmm.
them like, oh, all right, nephew, I see, that
Right.
that acceptance that means a lot for them because none of them labeled her as stuck up or a gold digger. They really like Yasmin for who she was, and I think that gave him the go ahead to continue to pursue her because I think if they would have rejected her, he would have too. What
Yeah.
you?
That's why like even like doing something simple like playing spades and seeing how she is in her
Mm-hmm.
element
I mean, mm-hmm.
and he loved watching her country accent surf it, like little stuff. That's why I put little stuff like that in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was like literally, that's why he said he fell in love with her on St. Ave, which is why the
That's
book
what I said.
is called
Yes,
St. Ave.
that
So
was my favorite scene.
yeah, and just seeing her being normal and he could be normal. Like you notice when
Mm-hmm.
he was there, he didn't have to put no guard up. He didn't have to worry about anything. He was just chilling with his people. And seeing her chill with his people was like, okay, I'm starting to feel stuff I ain't never felt. And that's when, he fell in love.
And it was such a cute scene. That literally, no, that was my favorite scene. You know, that and when the award show,
Oh my goodness.
y'all. Charae took us to the award show. I don't remember that really reading scenes like that in books about rappers, but we've got to go to a award show where Hero was being presented with a lifetime achievement award, and his speech that included her was one for the record books. It was like, she's mine, I'm claiming her. I don't care who you with. You could have been there with Jay-Z and
Yep.
I'm claiming you're mine. That right there was that was one of those scenes of like, man, hero that that dude, you
Yeah, he
know,
did not care. Like he did
he
not
had
care.
no cares in the world. It was like, she's mine. You can parade her around. That's mine. And I
Mm-hmm.
like that about him. He was very confident, very, very confident. And that's when he kind of put me in the headspace of 50 Cent, because
Yeah.
that cockiness, existed with him.
Yeah, he was one
God,
of my inspos for his character. I had like Tupac, I had 50 Cent. I want like their attitudes, not their
yeah,
looks or anything, but
mm-hmm.
the attitude, the boldness, just don't care. I want a hero to have those characteristics. So
and and we also, okay, so you had the love in there. You had, him being a rapper, him having artists, him being a mogul. You also got into the grimy side of the music industry,
mm-hmm.
where it's hard to trust a lot of people. When you have a circle, and like you said, it's always one person in the circle who either will sell you out for money or sell you out for fame, or
Mm-hmm.
both.
Yep.
So he was shot at, and this is what started, the whole, when him and Jasmine really got to know each other, because he was home more with her. You showed the side of him, the mental illness with depression, and how it drives him, how it takes him out of his element, and how his kids knew how to handle him in those moments. That right there was really soothing to read, because you have kids who don't understand their parents. Sometimes they're mean, sometimes they shut them out. But saying Angel, they knew how to comfort their dad and how to keep him away from others when he's in that stage, that
Mm-hmm.
depressive stage. What was it like writing that? Did you research, how depression works, or
Mm-hmm.
what did you do on that one?
Yeah, I researched a lot. I always want that side of life to be very accurate. So
Mm-hmm.
I researched, and it's different kinds. So I pulled from, different conditions and kind of wrapped it all in one. Um, I didn't want his bipolar to be, because people think bipolar, the people just lashing out and acting crazy, when it's not that. I wanted him to have that depressive mode where he just can't get out of bed. And I think I had watched the interview where I think it was Yana, and she was like, our kids know us better than anyone. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where the writing the twins coming in and sitting with him and just trying to shield him, that's where that element came in from. And they had to grow up so fast anyway. The twins, they experienced so much
Yes,
with
they
their
did.
in their lives, even though they only 6 years old. So um I think one reader told me she felt like he was selfish for having the kids do that. But I was like, yeah, I don't know if it was selfish. It's just he couldn't pull himself out of it.
Out of it. And it's
And,
hard.
and their love, just their comfort and their presence kind of soothed him in a way.
hmm
And I don't know. I didn't feel like he was that selfish with that. I just felt like he couldn't pull himself out of that hole.
Yeah, I didn't feel that at all.
Yeah.
When the thing is, he didn't call them. They knew to come. They
Mm-hmm.
knew when Daddy needed comfort. They knew when Daddy needed them, and the fact that they protected him even from Yasmin said a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, let me cuddle up with my dad. We can watch TV together. Bundle up under the covers. But this is his time.
Mm-hmm.
As his kids, we want to be with him. They kept the outsiders away, and they kept his secret, so to say, from the world, by doing that, by just, and
Mm-hmm.
they use it as quality time. They
Yeah,
disguise
like
it as quality time.
I don't even think the kids knew what it was. They just was
No.
like, even when they auntie came in, they was like, Daddy needs sleep. You know,
hmm
it's just Daddy needs sleep. I don't think they even know what it's called. They just know that he can't get out of bed.
And that scene right there, I'm not gonna say it made me cry, but it was like, wow, because kids really, there are kids who, like you said, understand their parents and know more about their parents than even their own siblings or their
Mm-hmm.
own parents. So yeah, that right there was a very, very, if you ever study bipolar disorders or things like that, that was one of the scenes where you were like, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
Any if you ever been in a depression where you just can't come out of that funk, that was real. Those was one of those scenes where a lot of people can relate to it. Even if you witnessed it, someone else do it, you can relate to it. So I really appreciated that scene. It made him, I don't want to say human, but it humanized him
Mm-hmm.
because we see the mogul, we see the guy in front of the cameras, and we see how he act around his public image. So to
Right.
see him be that vulnerable behind closed doors, it kind of humanized him. Like he's normal. He has problems just like everyone else in the world. Um, and I think a lot of people, when it comes to celebrities, we want them to be perfect. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times we see them saying we're not perfect. We're just like everyone else. We just have a talent,
Yeah.
that you guys love. So I really liked that scene. Um, but then Hero has some secrets. It was more than that, you know. He didn't tell Yasmin about his wife.
Girl didn't tell her, didn't give her a hint, nothing.
I'm like, I think, and that was a monkey wrench you threw in there. I'm like, he's met, like, really? I, and I didn't expect that. So when you threw that in there, I'm like, nah, Hero, you, boy, if you don't, come on. He knew
Mm-hmm.
better than that.
He
He knew
did.
better than I. And the thing is, how I know you said they didn't give him a chance to explain, but I'm with Yasmin on that. Baby, you don't have to explain this to me. Either you married or you not. And if you are,
Exactly.
it's something that should have been disclosed
Girl, they
before we
blame
even hugged.
they blame Yasmin for that. And I'm just like, how? I just didn't understand how it was her fault.
Yeah, so it's her fault he married and
It was
his
her
marriage.
fault that she didn't find out that he was married.
Okay.
I say y'all be too hard on the females. Y'all
Yeah,
just be coming up
I'm
with
telling you,
anything.
they want us to feed for ourselves. Is we have to be the detective when all he had to do was tell her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think it would have hurt her as bad as it did because, and that's another thing. She just had her heart broken by her husband. The affairs, the you moving someone else in the house I built right after the divorces. The ink hasn't even much dried on our divorce.
Right.
So it's like coming from that, I feel like every, man that enter her life has hurt her. And then here you go adding to the hurt that's already there. So I was mad at Hero. I did think she should have forgave him quicker.
I know a lot of yeah, that was another issue. They was like she overreacted, she overdid it.
I don't think she overreacted. She reacted how she was supposed to react. It's just, when he started begging, it's something about a man begging to me. And I think he was sincere with it. He was sincere with it. He asked her, don't shut down from me. Like, talk to me. Let's get through this. And
Mm-hmm.
I think she was just, after all she had been through, after what she just went through, she wasn't trying to hear none of that. None of it.
She got checked out.
Yes, she checked out. And I couldn't blame her, but it's like I fell in love with Hero, so I'm like, Yasmin, come on, he's trying. He's trying.
Girl,
So
Yasmin, I think even if she wasn't dealing with the situation with her mom, maybe she could have. But with that on her plate, it was kind of like, I'm done. Like, I'm checked out. I'm in this
mhm.
fog again that I was once in with my ex-husband. So I feel like if she didn't have the situation with her mom, then maybe she would have forgave him a little quicker.
And then I want to talk about Jasmine's mom, Jennifer. Um, she hadn't saw her since she left with David. She relocated with him to Parkland, and she didn't want to go back home. I know she was adamant about that. You know, even after the divorce, she said she didn't want to go back home. She wanted to, stay in Parkland where she, was comfortable at. So when she actually went home to, check on her mom, we found out that her mom is, dying of cancer, and basically there's nothing she can do but make amends with her, and I don't, and the thing is, I'm glad they didn't discuss what happened, because to me it was at that moment, at that, the moment of vulnerability her mom had, it would have done nothing but break her spirits even more.
Oh, you
you
think
know
so?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think she was just at a stage, when you're terminal, you have a terminal illness like that, you don't really want to discuss the past. It's
That's
sometimes
a
it can
different
be too
perspective.
much. Yeah, it can be too much. So I understood them not going into detail about it. She apologized,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's all. Yasmin, that's all she needed was the apology. Um, and I think Jennifer did a great job with patching things up with them. You know, um, and at the end, Yasmin had a lot of regret about not making amends with her mother sooner than that, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I don't know. I thought the closure that both of them received was enough. I'm glad you didn't drag it out, and the arguing and the fussing every day,
Yeah.
especially with her, on her deathbed like that. So I really liked, how you wrote that in. It wasn't too much. It wasn't too heavy, but it was just enough to where it did weigh on your heart. So I
Yeah.
thought that was a great scene, with
Yeah.
that. And the fact that she met the kids and Hero, because Hero showed up, because that's the type of guy he was. He loved Yasmin, and he wanted to know what she was doing, where she was at, because I think he did feel he hurt her, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think he meant to hurt her.
No, he didn't mean that was not his intentions. I just think like Yasmin was an escape for him that he just didn't want to give up because he knew if he's told her, "Hey, I'm married," she would have been like, "All right, I can't deal with that." So
Yes,
him being selfish, he just wanted more time with her. Like he knew it would come up, but he was like, "No, I gotta savor this what we have before it blow up," and it did blow up.
and I'm glad you. So how it came up, I don't think no one expected Natasha to be the person to drop that bomb, to purposely cause messiness in her son's life. I I, I just couldn't do it. Natasha was, and I'm glad you didn't redeem her. Natasha was unredeemable to me. It
Hmm.
was nothing she could say I think, to have me say, "Oh, she's changed." She was just a bitter woman.
Yes.
It was no redemption in her story, and again, I'm glad you didn't do it, because I don't think I would have wanted to read her, finally being accepted, or finally admitting that she was wrong. Girl, you made your bed, lay on it, and that's how I felt.
You know her
Everything that
pride.
happened to
Her
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 was
pride
well
would not.
deserved.
Her pride would not let her be like, "I was wrong." She just had too much ego to do any of that.
Her ego was bigger than her career.
Hmm.
Is And she fed off hurting her kids. She fed off hurting, then you get into the mindset of hurt people. So maybe she didn't know how to love, because she felt like such a failure. But the way she went about purposely causing chaos, or bringing chaos in her children's lives, was just, it was beyond me. I just couldn't get into her, and I tried. I'm like, well, maybe, she's
Mm.
hurt, or,
No.
no, because your parents took on, your responsibilities while you went and chased this career. So it wasn't like you didn't have support, because you did. She
Yeah,
did.
she had a lot of support.
You know. Anyway, away from Natasha, I just couldn't. At towards the end, I just couldn't stomach her at all. But I did, and it was one scene at the end where Hero, when he was very emotional, and I don't really want to give it away, because again, we want people to read. If you haven't read it, please read Saint App. It is so good, y'all. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. And I don't want to give away too many spoilers for those who haven't read it, but the ending is, I'm gonna say, total shocker. I didn't expect the book to turn how it did, but again, you snatch edges. That's what you do. You make sure that your audience isn't left with an ending that they would expect. No one is. I don't think no one reading that expected what you did, as far as, the ending with Gabrielle, with Natasha, with their family, and Hero's reaction to it. I I expected him to be more mad than sad, but he was actually really, really hurt by Natasha's actions towards the end,
Mm-hmm.
and that I didn't expect. I expected him to, send his boys for her. He didn't do that. He handled that, like a father would, and
He
that's
was
one thing.
defeated too, so that's probably why.
Oh my God, he was over it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? I gave you everything, and it still wasn't enough. So yeah, he was over it.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that aspect of it, because from what it's like, no matter what I put, I could give you $1,000,000. You want to? I can
Mm-hmm.
give you $2,000,000 after you ask for two, and you say, "Well, you could have at least gave me five." And that's the kind of mother she was.
Yeah.
Everything he gave, it was not enough. Um, he was just over it at that point. And I think so was Tamara. She was over it too.
Yeah. Cause she
Yeah.
always tried to see the good in Natasha for some reason. But once that happened, she was like, all right.
And I don't think, and Tamara was his sister. I don't think she was as hard on Tamara as she was on him.
Mm-mm.
And
Because Tamara didn't have a lot for her to offer her. It was Hero who had everything.
or did
So
he have the career she wanted?
yes, that's why she was so just envious and jealous. Like it's like she was on a path to destroy him. At the
Mm.
same time, let me make money off your name. Let me go on these speaking engagements and act like I raised you and I was there with you through like literally living a lie, just lying to
Mm-hmm.
people.
Exactly. So, in all, has the feedback that you got from this book, has it been what you expected?
Um, yeah, I expected readers to be really mad at Hero for what he did, but I'm telling you, I'm shocked that they like it wasn't that bad or it was Yasmin's fault.
It's still blaming Yasmin that I cannot get with that. How y'all blaming Yasmin?
Girl, I was like shocked. Like what? They
Yeah, because
still love
Yasmin had been
Hero.
through the ringer.
This
She literally been through hell and back, and he took her back to hell.
Hero could do no wrong. That's what I'm shocked. Like, oh my, I just knew they were gonna be so mad at him. I knew it was gonna be more Hero haters, but girl,
They loved him.
he could do no wrong to them.
Officially book-based status. Officially
That was not
book-based
my
status.
intentions. Like, I was just writing a flawed man. That's all I was doing.
I think readers love a flawed man that shows the qualities, like you said, shows the qualities in the man they want.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he did. So what do we have to look forward to now? What's in your plans now?
I've been thinking about a standalone. I'm on my standalone kick. I ain't did no series this year.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about this standalone. It's a good storyline. I'm just letting it sit in my head. Um, I don't want to make the mistake of writing it too prematurely because I've done that in the past, and I don't know. I feel like I'm taking my time more, which I felt like Saint Ave did really good because I literally took my time with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to, I got one more standalone after I finish these episodes for Jew.
And you don't write short books.
No, not no more.
Your books are thick, and it's not fluff. It's a storyline that you enjoy, and it's twists and turns. I don't think it's been a twist and turn that I expected yet. And like, I've been reading you for about 5 years now. I was a little late to the party.
That's all right.
Um,
You here though?
Literally, exactly. I'm here. But it's no story is the same. Your
Mhm.
characters aren't the same. You don't write the same tropes. You literally switch. Every book is different. It's different. You can be, in your romance bag, and then you realize, well, I don't want that from them no more, and then you switch it up, which is, again, that's charade, but we have to, as readers, I think we have expected that from you, and we know what we're going to get when we read you. Is there something, a trope or a genre you want to get in that you haven't, or you're scared to write in?
I'm not scared, but I would love to do a thriller. I just need to read more of that genre to see what elements I need for the book and then do it
Mm-hmm.
my way. But I would love to do a thriller. I would love to.
Really, I, I
Like
can.
a urban thriller.
Yeah, I can see that. I can really
Yeah.
see that. I can see that. Have you thought about writing under a pen name before? Is that
Hmm. I want to
Have
do
you?
that too. I have
Oh,
a
you
pen.
haven't.
I haven't wrote under it yet, but I got a pen name. I want to do under that name. I want to do like gritty urban fiction, like like Kwan books, like how his is just gritty and you can't get attached to no
The
character.
character. Oh,
He will
listen.
kill
When I
any.
used to read his books, I had to take breaks. Like,
Yes,
I'm like, let me put this down, because
you
Kawan
cannot
just
get
he just stressed
attached.
me out.
He will kill anybody off like without warning.
Anybody,
I love that about
anybody.
his writing though. I love that because you just don't know what to expect and he take risk, and I just love
Yes,
that.
yes, he does. A lot of authors I see now, especially the urban, from the urban side, they're putting their movies on Tubi. I mean, their books, turning them into movies and putting them on Tubi. And have you thought about doing that with any of your books? Do you want to transition to the big screen? Is there a book you specifically want to see?
I would love to do that, but I don't want a movie. I would want like a series based off one of my books. I feel
Okay,
like sometimes the movies, they could
it's
rush the
not enough
storyline.
compact.
Yes, and I would love to have like one of my books turned into a series.
Which one?
I could see Saint Ave, like
Me too.
I could see that, like girl, I could see that on the big screen. I could also see like Mine Again. That would be a good book, movie or a series. In Money We Trust, because it's like a female. She run this whole empire, and
Hmm.
I could see that. So yeah, I could see that
I
those
would
books.
love to see the Black Effect in the series.
Oh
And the
yeah, I
reason
be
why
forgetting.
the
Yes.
polygamous relationships are now, I'm not going to say they are now a thing, but they're being talked about more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, seeing it as, in the series, I don't think I've saw some, and I don't really watch TV. But I haven't heard of people really talking about shows with polygamous relationships. So I think that'll
Yeah.
be different. And
They only
again,
have like reality shows with that I've seen.
yeah,
But I don't see
yeah.
like a series, like, you know what I mean? In a movie format. I don't be seeing them either.
I like to see that.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I think your choices are good, especially St. Av. I can definitely see an episode, and I can see actually you adding to the story even after, it finished. I could see it being added to. You can go along more with his career, and
Right.
then his artists and things like that. So that would be actually really good. Is there something you want to do outside of writing?
Mm, nope.
So
Not
you
right now.
off
Not
the
at the
hat.
moment.
Because I see some authors saying they want to direct, or they want to be an executive at, like, these cable companies like Stars, and you want to bring the urban rural there. So I saw a couple of people saying, they want to start doing that. How do you feel about the influence of urban authors on the culture now, where you see different shows starting up where it focuses on the drug life, or urban books that we read before, they're bringing it to life? Does that make you happy?
Yes, listen, I love seeing just the grittiness. I don't know, that underworld, that stuff is so intriguing. Even though
Mm-hmm.
it's filled with crime, it ain't even necessarily got to be drugs. Like, just seeing illegal activity and watching a person get away with it and get money and become successful is very intriguing.
It
I
is.
love seeing it on TV. Now they can stop talking about urban fiction books. Now that it's being,
Yes.
more on the TV screen.
And then another thing, like you said, is more to drugs. It's a whole underworld with
Mm-hmm.
illegal things that are you dealing guns. Um, I know Takara Allen talked about it before with human trafficking in
Yep.
her books. Like, it's so many things that people do behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. You see these wealthy people and you don't know how they got their wealth.
Yep.
And then, there's a whole story behind them. And
Even
I
like you
like that.
got the police, the politicians, they all be into
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, it's all corrupted. So it ain't necessarily just all drugs, 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 which is why,
Mm-hmm.
like, my characters, I'd make sure like they have, like, one of my he was a gun dealer and stuff like that. It ain't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily drug dealers. They all be in that corruption lifestyle. So I just love seeing it be brought to life because it does happen. It really happens in real life.
And it's fun to watch.
It is, like I said, it's intriguing, and that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep writing urban fiction because it's intriguing. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any last words you want to leave us with?
I'm just Thank you for inviting me. And when you asked for Saint Ave, I was like, wait, Maisha wants Saint Ave? Like, I knew you read my work, but I didn't know you wanted an exclusive peek at it. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I was like, okay, I'm gonna send it to her. So, and I'm gonna look. I got a book for you right here.
Oh, y'all, when we were at Behind the Pen, Sheree sold my book.
I did
I
not
just
sell your
want to
book.
let y'all know.
You didn't come
Sheree
get your
sold my
book.
book.
You did not come get your book.
It
So,
was flying out. Listen, okay, and I walked up to you, beforehand. I'm not gonna say I didn't expect you to sell out, because I did. I did not expect that book to fly off the shelf
it
like
did.
it did. It was the first. I'm like, it wasn't even much an hour. I came back and I'm like,
No, it was selling before the event started. I had sold 4 before the event started,
and I'm so glad.
and I brought a
You
lot of
deserve
books.
it.
Thank you.
You as an author, like, you know how you read certain authors and you like, I know, I I don't even much have to read the synopsis anymore. I know this is a one click. That's where I've the point I've reached with you. You're a one click
Thank
author for
you.
me, and it's a certain number of authors that are, but everything you give is different. It's from your. I think you take your time with your books. It's not rushed. I don't feel like you're all over the place with. When I get a story from line to you, I'm sorry. When I get a storyline from you, it's a storyline, and I know I'm going to enjoy it. So that's where you are with me,
Thank
as a one
you.
click author.
I
So
appreciate
I
that.
enjoy your work. and I'm glad that you're able to sell out, and I'm glad that you're in the 1,000 reviews in a
I
month.
know. My
That is
book. I was so
well
happy.
deserved,
Thank you.
well deserved. Like when I went back and read it, like saw the reviews, I'm like, I'm glad they love this book because it was really, really good.
Thank
So with
you.
that being said, thank you for joining me for Sister Girls Night Out,
Thank
and I
you for
can't
having
wait to.
me.
No problem, and we can't wait to have you again.
Yes. And I'm gonna send your book this week so you can stop shading me online. I'm tired of the
What's
shade.
one time? What's one time?
You know you was gonna sneak some more in.
Well, thank you for joining me. Enjoy your night.
You
Bye.
too, boo.